We're back with some very concerning updates about Texas and unfortunately North Carolina as well. And I want to start things off with something people have been asking ever since the news broke about the missing campers. Of course, the mainstream media is more than willing to share the heartbreaking headlines with you.
Meantime, heartbreak in Texas as the death toll continues from last week's catastrophic flooding continues to rise. At least 80 people were killed. 28 of them were children, and many are still accounted for. The threat does continue today with flood alert still in place for Central Texas.
But I've been trying to find the answer to a simple question. Just why in the world were people not warned about the incoming wall of water?
Judge, one of these camps evacuated yesterday. Texas Department of Emergency Management put out an all call and said there's going to be a problem. We knew there was going to be a problem. Why weren't these camps evacuated?
I can't answer that. I don't know.
Now, of course, we all know what liberal news sites and their so-called experts are saying.
A lot of the weather forecast offices now are not operating at full complement of staff. These are outstanding scientists, wonderful technicians, terrific policy folks. But if we don't have enough of them doing the job, then something falls off the table.
Their claims are strengthened by what we heard from local authorities in Texas.
But listen, everybody got the forecast from the National Weather Service, right? You all got it. You're all in media. You got that forecast. It did not predict the amount of rain that we saw. So using the National Weather Service data, which we were all looking at, they were warning 3 to 6 inches of rain.
Even Kristi Noem just shifted the blame to the Biden administration and claimed no responsibility.
For decades, for years, everybody knows that the weather is extremely difficult to predict, but also that the National Weather Service over the years at times has done well, and at times we have all wanted more time and more warning and more alerts and more notification.
And you know me, I don't give a damn if someone's a Democrat or a Republican. If your actions lead to the deaths of innocent people, I will call you out. So, in order to find out the truth, I decided to see what the weather forecast even said on the 3rd of July before these floods. According to records, the NWS issued a flood watch at 1:18 p.m. on the 3rd of July. However, at 1:14 a.m. on the 4th of July, they issued an urgent flash flood warning for Kerr County. This warning came with a considerable or catastrophic tag, which should have immediately pushed the local authorities to start evacuations in the areas close to the Guadalupe River. Now, you might be thinking it's too late, but according to meteorologists interviewed by NBC News, you can't predict a flood like this a day or so in advance. However, they sure as hell gave the Kerr County authorities several hours to warn people. In fact, according to reports, the river didn't start rising until 4 a.m. So, once again, the question is, why did no one warn the people in that area? Well, there are two reasons. First of all, in rural counties, local authorities often don't have enough manpower to knock on every door and wake up unsuspecting residents. Instead, what they really needed was a warning system like the one available in a lot of places. Unfortunately, Kerr County just didn't have such sirens to warn people of the impending doom. Of course, just having weather sirens doesn't ensure safety. You need competent people to even sound the alarm, otherwise you'll be seeing more situations like what we saw in St. Louis or even Lahaina.
St. Louis Mayor Kara Spencer placed the commissioner of the City Emergency Management Agency on leave.
Now, this is after tornado sirens did not go off before last week's deadly tornado in the city of St. Louis.
Do you regret not sounding the sirens?
I do not. And the reason why... and
so many people said they could have been saved if they had time to escape. Had a siren gone off, they would have known that there was a crisis emerging. And as we know, so many bodies were found in the ground.
Do you want him to give you the answer, or do you want to give? Well, then let him finish. Let him finish.
Speaking of Hawaii, last night the island of Oahu had evacuations going on while a wildfire spread quickly across the island.
Breaking news, a wildfire has forced the evacuation of a portion of Maili. We are getting reports that at least 2 homes have already burned, and the HFD has already reported that the fire is 20% contained.
I'm trying to get to CAT at Hawaii SPCA and they're not letting us through. The winds is crazy. You cannot see the road.
Oh my gosh. Holy crap.
Now, circling back, not having these systems is downright criminal, and the only people you have to blame for this are Texas lawmakers who rejected a bill that would have improved the emergency warning systems for the entire state. And what's insane is that they actually rejected this bill because it would have cost $500 million. Look, folks, as a nation, we spend an ungodly amount of taxpayer money on things that don't help us, and yet we are always saving money when it comes to public safety. And that's why, even though the National Weather Service was not at fault this time around, I strongly believe that we should make sure it has enough people to give us an accurate forecast. I mean, we're spending $170 billion on immigration. Surely we can afford to spend some money to keep our people safe as well. Now, thankfully, President Trump seems to be fully on board about helping these victims.
I don't know the answer yet as to how many people, but it looks like some young people have died. Any federal aid for that? Oh yeah, we'll take care of it. We're working with the governor.
Just compare this to what Joe Biden said in the aftermath of Hurricane Helene.
It really is amazing. You saw the photographs. It's stunning.
It's unbelievable, but
it really is.
Such a wide area.
So clearly there is an improvement in government response, and I also have to commend the local agencies for how they started rescue efforts as soon as the flood hit. In North Carolina, FEMA didn't just refuse to help victims, but they actively stopped volunteers from helping as well.
But please do not donate to FEMA. They are hindering a lot of what people are trying to accomplish out in the western part of the state.
FEMA is here. You know that from the other day when I told you that FEMA was here. They have just gone in and confiscated the store that I told you about and showed you pictures of. They are making the people leave. Get their stuff as quickly as they can, or they will take it from them.
Now, unfortunately, according to the authorities, there is still more flooding to come, and they are begging people to stay out of the floodplains.
When suddenly we saw one of these cruisers from Kerr County, a sheriff's deputy, get on the radio telling everyone to leave, get out. Water was apparently building up north, and there were major concerns that it was coming this way.
Apologize for looking at my phone during the press conference, but this is the live updates that we're getting right now from the field. Is there are unconfirmed at this point reports of additional water coming in, and as the governor mentioned, and so if you're in a low-lying area, we need you to move yourself out of that low-lying area. We've got DPS aircraft that are flying up to try to find this wall of water right now.
And this bad weather seems to be spreading to other states as well. In North Carolina, people are experiencing heavy rain and flash flooding because of Tropical Storm Chantel.
What is that? Oh my God. What is that?
Oh no, this is not good, man. This is not good. Look, dude, those people in that house right there.
Definitely, Dewan, and so that rain, it came down quick, it came down fast, creating flash floodings all across the area.
Let's just pray that we don't see another tragedy in North Carolina, because the people of that state have certainly been through enough. Now, strangely, this isn't the first time the Guadalupe River has taken innocent lives from a church camp.
On Friday morning, July 17th, 1987, the small town of Comfort, Texas, became the scene of a heroic rescue and tragic loss. Much of the footage you will see was taped on that day by the banks of the Guadalupe River.
It was the day they were supposed to go home. The more than 300 children at the church camp were awakened early. The river was flooding. If they didn't leave soon, their buses might not be able to leave at all.
They come in there rushing us up and everything. Telling us get up, get packed and all this stuff, and everybody was asking why. They said we got to get out of here because the river was flowing over.
We started going around the corner. We would go down the hill, then water started coming in the bus and stuff. We tried to back up, but then the bus got stuck, so they made all of us get out of the bus.
And that's whenever the first wave hit us and started scattering people to different trees.
Masterman tried repeatedly to rescue 14-year-old Melanie Finley, but she was ripped away by the river. The rescuers were lowered, knowing that if they got caught in the trees, they would be cut loose. Sergeant Mackenzie first tried to reach 16-year-old Scott Chatham, already weakened by leukemia and chemotherapy. Took hours, but the Army rescuers pulled 26 people out of the trees. By 11:30 that morning, it was over. 33 people had been saved. But 10 children died in the waters of the Guadalupe River.
This whole situation seems like a nightmare that keeps repeating itself. Now, in my last video, many people were shocked by what the Rainmaker CEO was saying. You will also be shocked by just who backed him to start this company. Allegedly, after leaving Berkeley, Augustus Dorico received $100,000 from former Thiel Foundation executive Michael Gibson. And then, months later, he received another $100,000 from Peter Thiel himself. And yes, I'm talking about the same Peter Thiel who made a fortune building spy tech for the NSA. So you tell me, am I wrong for not trusting what this guy is saying? Speaking of trust, I've lost any faith I had in the FBI and the DOJ after their latest updates on Epstein. In their latest statement, they said, and I'm going to quote them here, "This systematic review revealed no incriminating client list. There was also no credible evidence found that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals as part of his actions. We did not uncover evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties." So basically, they're telling us to stop calling out Bill Gates and Reid Hoffman for hanging out with Epstein. Now look, we all knew this was going to happen. The people who were involved with Epstein are way too powerful, and they were never going to let the truth come out. However, I never expected them to call us the bad guys for even asking questions. In one part of their statement, they said that their top priority is to stop the spread of these theories about Epstein, and that's why they won't disclose anything else. Let me show you who was spreading those theories only months ago.
Well, the Epstein Black Book, like on day one.
On day one, roll out the Black Book.
So will you work with me on this issue so we know who worked with Jeffrey Epstein in building these sex trafficking rings?
Absolutely, Senator. Child sex trafficking has no place in the United States of America, and I will do everything, if confirmed as FBI director, to make sure the American public knows the full weight of what happened in the past.
But in this case, in Epstein's case, it is incredibly disturbing. We have flight logs, we have information, names that will come out.
Now, they also made it clear that Epstein unalived himself, but we already knew that thanks to Dan Bongino and Kash Patel.
Did Jeffrey Epstein hang himself, or did somebody kill him?
Senator, I believe he hung himself in a cell in the Metropolitan Detention Center.
Are you going to release all the information about that?
Senator, we are working through that right now with the Department of Justice.
I'm not going to tell people what they want to hear. I'm going to tell you the truth, and whether you like it or not is up to you. There, in some of these cases, the there you're looking for is not there. And I know people, I get it. I understand. It's not there.
They both look terrified and aren't even speaking like real people anymore. They also released a video of the Manhattan prison where Epstein was being held.
According to a memo detailing the findings, investigators found the video showed no one entering the area in the overnight hours before Epstein was found unresponsive.
Of course, it shows no one entering that area, but then again, at this point, can we believe anything they're saying or showing us?
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients? Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review.
At this point, I don't think people will be shocked by this statement. After all, we just let someone like Diddy get away as well. However, I do believe millions of people who voted for this administration will be disappointed by this outcome because they expected the truth. Now, before I go, I want to share a very interesting story that caught my eye yesterday. Something just entered our solar system and scientists don't know what the hell it is. NASA spotted an object hurtling toward the sun at over 90 kilometers per second. That's 200,000 miles per hour. They're calling it 3I Atlas, only the third confirmed interstellar object ever seen. That means it came from outside our solar system, ejected from another star system entirely. But here's where this gets weird. Its speed, trajectory, and composition don't behave like a normal comet or asteroid. It's massive, possibly 10 to 12 miles wide, and it's not headed toward Earth yet. So what is it? NASA says it's natural. But the last time this happened, with Oumuamua in 2017, Harvard astronomers said it might have been a probe or alien tech. This one's different, bigger, faster, and more precise. We have no idea what's inside it, what pushed it out of its system, or what happens when it slingshots past our sun in October. But here's what's clear. 3 interstellar objects in just 6 years after never spotting a single one before? Something changed. The solar system isn't closed off anymore. Something's coming in, maybe observing, maybe something else. But space just got a lot less empty. And that'll be it for today, folks. I really want to know what you guys think about my explanation of this tragedy. Also, what are your thoughts on this whole Epstein situation? Feel free to share your thoughts with everyone in the comments down below. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you in the next one.